Hi everyone, welcome back to a new episode in the Fluval Evo build. I think it is now our 6th or 7th episode. It's been a few weeks since the last update, and in this video I'm just going to show what's changed in the past few weeks, the coral growth we've had, and some new additions to the tank as well. Also in this video I'm going to cover doing my little weekly water change, and also what I feed the corals in order to keep up the maintenance with the system. So as you can see, this is the Gonipora. It's really starting to extend out right now, and it's really happy. I moved it to a kind of lower flow area in the system, so it gets a nice little sway at the minute, and it's really enjoying it. So one of the biggest changes in the tanks is probably the Zoa garden. I've really started to mount all the Zoas onto the rockwork, and they've really enjoyed the stability and the constant location. A new addition here in front of the camera is this green acan, a great little colony, and it's doing fantastic as well. As you can see, the little clown goby is also really enjoying himself. He really likes to perch himself on the little rockscape and just look out around the tank all day. So you can see a lot of the corals are in their more stationary position now. I've kind of tried to find over the past few weeks where they most enjoy. And you can see the colours are really starting to come out in the corals. It's really good to see. I'm currently feeding them 2 or 3 times a week using reefers and some mysis shrimp. Two of the biggest additions are these 2 rockflower anemones. I got those off a local reefer, and they're pretty big. The largest is about 4 inches in width, and the other one's a little bit smaller, but yeah, they're amazing colour. So usually every week I do a 10 litre, 12 litre water change. I find it's just really the best way to maintain my reef. I don't really like to dose. I don't really want to get into dosing yet. I want to keep it really simple. So in order to do that, I just do weekly water changes. With a tank this small, the Fluval Evo, it really only requires 10 litres or so a week, and that will reintroduce a lot of the minerals used up by the corals and keep everything nice and steady. So I create my own RODI water, and I fill up a bucket with my 10 litres, and I use my Aquaforest, and you can see the cup is very handy. It comes with a little 10 litre marking, so you know you can kind of quickly measure it out and add it into your bucket. In this case I was making around 12 litres just to be safe, so I add a little bit more. And I store my salt just in this in the box it came in. This isn't the best. It probably should be kept in like an airtight bucket, so I'm going to look to be putting it in a bucket very soon. So in order to keep the water warm and up to temperature before it goes into the system, I use a 300 watt heater. It's very overkill, but it just helps me get the water up to temperature pretty quickly, so I'm not sitting around for hours waiting for my salt to mix. And I use this cheap little wave maker. Yeah, I just got it off Amazon. It was very cheap, so it works really well. And I usually leave my salt to mix. I use this Aquaforest salt, and I normally leave it to mix for around about an hour. And within that hour, it's normally up to the temperature of the tank, and it's all good to go. So yeah, this is how the tank looks at the minute. I'm really happy with it. It's looking really peaceful and really nice. So I'm just going to show you now, guys, how to or how I feed my system. I normally do these 2 or 3 heavy feedings a week. It may look like a lot of reefroids that I'm using, but I have a macroalgae inside my system. You can see it grows along the back wall of the glass, and it's been doing really well. It's helped me keep my nitrates and phosphates under control, and yeah, so I'm able to feed really heavy. The corals love the food, and yeah, so it's a win-win. So I use a kind of turkey baster to do this. I add a little bit of tank water into the little cup, and Then I add about 2 or 3 little spoonfuls of reefers. This is probably quite a lot, but again, I've been doing this now for a few months and the corals seem to be doing really well. I'm not getting any nuisance algae apart from some little bits of bubble algae. So yeah, I'm just going to keep on doing it really because the corals are really thriving with it. So again, I just mix it up and yeah, take it into the tank with the turkey baster. Before I do this, I turn off all my flow, just let the water settle and let the corals come out a little bit. So I take a full siphon full. I just give every little bit of coral a little squirt each, and a little bit more to the rock flora anemones. I tend to like to give those a more meatier mysis shrimp during the week, because I just think it does better with more meatier substance than a dust such as the reefroids. So yeah, I just give everything a nice little dosing. The zoas really like it seems. They close up straight away, and yeah. I've really noticed the maximum growth in my zoas, I think, mostly. In my older system, yeah, they didn't really grow that well. They were growing, but I've never really seen growth like this before until the Soul system. And I think I put that down to really the weekly water changes that I'm able to do. So you can see now how great colour this acan has, and the 2 larger rock flora anemones. One's like a green and purple, and one's a red and orange. I've got a variety of different little zoas here at the minute, and also pallies mixed in there as well. So you can see more down the middle, the chlorpa growing at the back. It's really bushing out, and I think it looks really great, especially in the background of the system. And the clownfish really love it. I usually feed these guys before I do this, so that they're not doing what they're doing now and looking for kind of food and kind of picking it off the corals, but they still tend to do it just because they're so inquisitive. But yeah, their colours are also doing really great. I'm feeding the clownfish live food maybe like 3 times a week, and a nice pellet the rest of the week, and I usually feed them once a day in the morning when the lights come on. Yes, this acan's just amazing. I'm so in love with it. It's just great. It's so full, and it's got so many heads on it as well. And this is the second little orange acan I have. So yeah, guys, you can kind of see the little reef in action here, and yeah. So what I do then, once my salt is mixed, it normally takes about an hour. Like I said, I have a large barrel which I use for my salt out, that I call it. So I only use it for taking the dirty salt water out of my system. I use this simple, cheap little siphon. I think I showed this in another video before. It does the job. And before I do this, I turn off my auto return pump, and I turn off my auto top off, just so that the system can settle and not dump in a lot of RO water into the system when the water level in the tank is dropping. So yeah, I like to kind of take it down to nearly halfway, and that's nearly around 10-12 litres of salt water. Clown Goby's just so interested to see what's going on. So here's a little top-down shot, guys. As you can see, a lot of the zoas are really growing over the rocks now. The colours are really starting to pop out. I love the contrast in the different zoas, and I've tried to kind of position them so that I would get some contrast and some breakup between certain colours of zoas, so I don't have just constant red zoas or blue zoas together or yellow zoas. So I'm taking the little lid off, the fluval lid off the back, and I just like to put it into the tank and use my hand as a water break. By this time the temperature and the salinity of the new salt is just as the tank, so there's going to be no shock really to any of the corals or fish, or at least we hope so. And here's the back chambers. I just like to top it back up to where it originally was, and you can see the DFLOW baskets with chamber 1 and chamber 2, and we run the floss on both baskets just to get a double, really good cleaning of the water, really good floss. So I like to replace this once a week, just with need a little bit of floss in each bit. So this is the chamber 1 and the chamber 2, and I've really noticed this. This really leaves my water crystal clear, especially the double filtration with the floss. It's really, really great. I just replace it. Helps take out any small little particles in the water and really just leaves it crystal clear. I like to run carbon sometimes as well, maybe like once a month. I like to change out a little bag of carbon that I keep on the chamber 1 media basket. So yeah guys, that's just a little update on the tank. Really just corals are growing, everyone's looking really good. I don't think I really want to add much more corals to the system. Maybe I'm thinking of a couple of little SPS on the higher rocks. But yeah, I'm loving it at the minute. It's perfect, it's simple, and yeah, so thanks guys.